Today's entry in the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. Now we'll be showing the ins and outs of hunting from a box blind. And then it's a case of deja vu on the Lindsay Creek Ranch, where we'll take not one but two great whitetail bucks in the exact same location days apart. Well, that rarely happens in the same place, but not on today's show. Both Wade Middleton and Mark Nelsen hunt from the exact same box blind a mere week apart and have almost exactly the same luck. Well, that's all ahead on today's Whitetail Diaries. Yamaha presents the Whitetail Diaries, chronicling hunting adventures of the most plentiful and intelligent big game animal in North America. Join top whitetail hunters nationwide. Embark on the amazing adventure that is hunting the whitetail deer. Lindsay Creek Ranch is known for offering some of the best whitetail hunting available. Located in South Texas, the ranch can accommodate experienced hunters as well as first-time hunters looking to harvest either their biggest buck ever or just a solid management buck.
A great ranch, huge amount of acres, managed really well. It's early December, and down here in this part of the country, the rut's really just getting started. At home, it's kind of over in Nebraska where I'm from, so it's kind of neat to come down here and hunt deer in the phase of the rut that maybe we saw a month ago. They're just now starting to chase and seeing those scrape activities and the rutting activity down here in December.
The Lindsay Creek Ranch also offers a variety of styles of hunting, from ground blind hunting to food plots to several box blinds that are set up in key areas on the ranch.
Strategies and setups for a lot of box blinds are to be able to see long distances or be able to see down roads or senderos that are cut. In a lot of cases, the landowner or the people on a lease or a hunting ranch will clear lanes, so to speak, create edge habitat. It could be for food plots, it could be where they're going to place an on-demand protein or a corn feeder at, or it could be just to open up habitat so they can see the deer that are moving around in some of these locations. In the case that we're set up on right now, it's actually a conjuncture of 4 roads that are coming in, and as you sit and look at it, off to the north side of it, there's a water trough for the deer. Way up the other road, it basically goes out to a gate. The one behind us just looks like it goes into some of the thickest mesquite brush you're ever going to find. And then the one in front and slightly to the left, there is a protein feeder out there that is an on-demand deal where the deer can come to it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what they've done by placing it here is created a hunting opportunity no matter what the wind direction is and no matter what the situation is going on, that to make this stand a very functional location.
Box blinds can be a great way to shield you from the elements, and Cabela's Mark Nelsen knows this as he gets ready for his morning hunt on the Lindsay Creek Ranch.
A great cold morning, what I would call a good duck day. You know, overcast, kind of socked in, drizzly, misty, kind of foggy, and just you know, just one of those days that you feel like you should be sitting in a duck blind. But we were in a box blind, and sure enough, we had deer out very early, well before camera light, well before light. Again, the deer were on their feet with these weather patterns that were going on. The deer were up and the deer were moving.
It's good to see them moving. It's amazing the difference we got that little cobra after we've had warm weather.
More whitetail hunting action when the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries returns. The Yamaha Whitetail Diaries is brought to you in part by Yamaha ATVs and side-by-sides, real world tough. Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter of hunting, fishing, and outdoor gear. Garmin, we'll get you there. And by Nikon Sport Optics.
Load up, gear up, and save big at Cabela's. Get what's new for the season at tough-to-beat prices. You can trust our gear. Shop your way. Online at Cabela's.com, by catalog, or in-store. Cabela's, world's foremost outfitter.
Smith & Wesson Consumer Program Manager and World Champion Shooter.
Joe Zanetti, Smith & Wesson Finishing Specialist and lifelong hunter.
Jim Dalton, Smith & Wesson Master Gunsmith. I shoot competitively, and so does my son.
Our people, our products, our passion. Smith & Wesson.
Unlike farmers, hunters usually only get to plow and plant their food plots on weekends. So the #1 complaint is that the plot didn't come up or the stand was thin. Delta Ag has developed a 3-step process that focuses on the soil, seed, and plant. And after many years of real-life situations, Delta Ag has found this concept to be a solid foundation to build crop performance from the ground up. For more information, visit our website at seedcoat.com or see your local dealer.
Hunting isn't what we do, it's who we are. And the animals we hunt aren't the same as they were 1,000 years ago. They've evolved, they're smarter, but so are we. I believe that we as hunters must always strive to be better. And Stealth Camp makes me a better hunter. What do you believe?
Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. Want your chance to win a trip to the world-famous Whitetail Diaries deer camp? Well, just find Whitetail Diaries on Facebook and click the like button. It's that easy for your chance to win. We're nearly to 25,000 likes, and when we reach that, we'll pick one lucky winner, maybe you. And if you win, well, you'll be hanging out with the crew, swapping stories around the fire, and playing your pick of Activision and Cabela's video games. Then wake up early, load up a Yamaha ATV or side-by-side, and head out in the field with Whitetail Diaries host Wade Middleton. You'll get your chance at a world-class Texas-sized mature buck, and even get to use one of our state-of-the-art Thompson Center rifles with Nikon scope. And all this will be filmed for a future episode of the Whitetail Diaries. Tell your friends to head to Facebook for their chance to win this once-in-a-lifetime trip and be eligible to win other prizes from our friends at Garmin, Cabela's, Yamaha, Frog Togs, and much, much more. We're on the Lindsay Creek Ranch with host Wade Middleton and Cabela's Mark Nelsen.
Plan for this particular hunt was to hunt a buck that had just kind of popped up out of nowhere. The rancher and the guys working the cows and JJ had all spotted this deer in the recent week or so, in the last 10 days, and described him as a 10-point with some crazy brow tines and some different stuff going on, and a buck that was mature that we ought to hunt. The problem was being able to hunt it and get it on camera was going to be a challenge. You know, we really couldn't find a great way to get everybody involved in this particular setup to where we could target where this deer was consistently being seen at, which was a long sendero up in front of us with a big live oak off to one side and really a very small, narrow opportunity. And we sat there and kind of sat there some more, and we rattled a little bit and just basically didn't see anything on that particular set of where we were. So it became evident that we needed to take some chances and go do some other things.
Now, cold front has come in, and the guys have decided to head out to a box blind where the ranch manager has spotted a good mature buck that he'd like Mark to target. And so far, the weather has the deer moving pretty good.
Got really lucky. We had a great setup, beautiful box blind. Was able to put a sandbag in the window.
You know, when you're hunting in a box blind, you've got an opportunity to get some great rest. You know, I like to carry a sandbag with me in there because I'm a believer in the more comfortable and the more stable a platform that I can create before I take the shot, that's what I want. I want everything to be perfect because when I finally decide that it's time to take a shot, I want everything stable. I want to be able to know that where I'm aiming, when I pull the trigger, the bullet's going to hit. And that's one of the setups we've got here. We've already ranged everything. We already know the distances. We've got, you know, a nice sandbag here. When it comes time to be able to move around, it really pays off for you.
We were watching some deer that were off to our left in the opening. Had a buck down there that at first, when it was really low light, we could see was a wide deer, but he just didn't have a lot of points. Wade said that's a pretty young deer. We really aren't going to look at shooting that deer. This is the time of year when the rut kind of kicks in. So you'd anticipate that cold front could be one of those little triggers that maybe gets the deer started, gets them chasing, gets them running, gets them doing their thing. And the deer were up and moving on this day. I wouldn't say they were chasing what we were looking at, but you could definitely tell there was an older buck and then a subordinate buck. And that subordinate buck was staying 30 yards away, but really paying attention.
We're a couple days into this hunt, and the weather's changed. You know, it's the wind direction's changed, the temperature's going to plummet, rain's coming in, and we're setting up on a four-way. And based on the wind direction, what's going on, and other past experiences here, we know that we're going to see deer. JJ Ducharme, who runs a lot of the hunts on here, this is his favorite blind on the ranch. I mean, he's always seeing deer here. He gets excited when he talks about this spot, and he's seen a lot of these bucks, and he kind of shared some information on what to expect. And what he didn't prepare me for, he's like, man, there's been 2 big bucks crossing on this water trough way down here. Keep your eye out that way. Well, JJ didn't mention this, hey, there's, make sure you look this direction here, because sure enough, that's where all the action started happening.
There he comes out. Get a little buck looking in the brush. We'll take that deer. Easy.
As the morning got a little lighter and a little lighter, we saw some other deer off to our right and then right in front of us. And then suddenly, just kind of out of nowhere, this buck appeared. It was a beautiful 10-point buck, old buck. Wade said, boy, that's a shooter. If we get an opportunity at him, we want to make this shot.
Boy, he's a good deer. Just don't have a shot angle. Just gotta wait on him. I got an angle, but that little buck's behind him. I just really want him to be clear before we take any shots. Plenty of time. Yeah, they're comfortable with him. If he gives you the shot you're looking for, Mark, when you take him, I don't want him to get too jumpy and windy out there. Another deer behind him.
And it took a while, but he actually fed finally out through the brush into a good opening. Wasn't far away, maybe 75 yards, so really had a good, dead solid rest.
Don't have much of a shot angle on him right now. Just be ready on him. He's liable to turn it any second. Give you what you're looking for. Okay, a little more. There you go, blast him. You got him good. You got him good. Yeah, he's hit good. He hit good. Good shot. Popped him right in the hour there. On that deal there. You can see that leg dropping there. Pretty good.
Felt very sure of that shot on that buck, that we'd done things right.
I see him already. There's no need to go track.
It was great to be able to get an opportunity at another mature deer. You feel like you're doing the right thing for these ranches. These are their hit list deer, if you will. These are the ones you want to target. So to be able to shoot a really old buck, that to me is just awesome. Free ranging deer. These are really, really unique deer, and I know every time I look at him, and look at those antlers, I'm going to remember that duck morning and that misty, foggy, kind of drizzly morning when that cold front was coming through, and just how unique this buck is.
Oh
yeah, neat old buck.
I like that.
Neat old buck. Thank you, sir.
Very nice.
Oh, what a
Very
pretty
nice.
deer.
When we come back, Whitetail Diaries host Wade Middleton heads to the field alone to try his luck at taking a mature whitetail buck.
How about that?
Get lost in the hunt, not the wilderness. Hunt with Garmin.
For an efficient way to break down your next buck or doe, the Bubba Blade can't be beat. As a field knife, the Bubba Blade performs well, easily breaking down game on the spot. Paul F. Taylor, long-range expert with 14 big game animals qualified for the record books, has more to say.
Just took that right off. You've got your pistol grip here for your trigger finger. Fits right in there so you're not going to slip. You have a Teflon blade. No meat's going to stick to that. That surface is absolutely repels anything from sticking to it. It's a real easy cleanup.
In the kitchen, the knife does just as well, slicing through steaks with ease. Whether your meat is fresh shot in the field or picked up from the supermarket, the Bubba Blade is able to get the job done. Hard meats, such as summer sausage, were sliced just as easy as a soft and juicy brisket. And the Bubba Blade makes slicing ribs simple. For more information about the Bubba Blade, check out BubbaBlade.com.
Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries, brought to you in part by Smith & Wesson. Do all outdoors, field-tested, guide-rated gear for the outdoors. Delta Ag Formulations, improving plant performance. Thompson Center, America's master gun maker. Now we're on the Lindsay Creek Ranch in South Texas with host Wade Middleton. Earlier in the week, Cabela's Mark Nelsen hunted out of a box blind in a prime location amidst 4 senderos and was able to take a great mature whitetail buck.
You see a lot of deer. One of the things I love most about hunting in Texas is simply the fact that you get to see a lot of game. Where I'm from, you know, you feel like it's a good day if you saw a good deer from your stand. Here, you're going to see several. And that's what I like. Just the deer density in Texas is so awesome that it's fun to come down here and just sit. Whether you shoot anything or not, just come to, it's really fun to come and see all the critters.
Back at deer camp, Wade loaded up his grizzly and headed out to hunt on the ground. But before he headed out, he made sure his ride would be a safe ride. Yamaha presents Ride Smart, making sure every ride you take on an ATV or side-by-side is a smart ride. Before heading out on any ATV or side-by-side, make this quick checklist to keep your ride safe. Number 1, always wear long pants and over-the-ankle boots, long sleeves and gloves, goggles, and that piece that will save your life, a DOT-compliant helmet. Now, number 2, remember these vehicles were designed to be operated off-highway, so never ride on paved roads. And number 3, never ride under the influence of alcohol or other drugs. For a complete list of the ATV Safety Institute's golden rules, visit YamahaOutdoors.com. Back to the hunt. Now, Wade didn't have much luck on the ground at deer camp, and well, with the weather getting colder, Wade decided to head back to the comforts of a box blind on the Lindsay Creek Ranch.
It's pretty cold this morning here in Texas. It's about 35 to 36 with about a 15-mile-an-hour northwest wind, and that's pretty chilly for down here, but I like that type of weather. These deer really get moving. We're going to the back of Lindsay Creek Ranch this morning, which is one of the places we hunt out of our camp. And and see what comes out. We got a big four-way. It's a box blind scenario, exactly where Mark Nelsen and I had said a couple times trying to take a buck, and he ended up taking a nice 10 out of there with some crazy character. That's the split personality buck for sure. I'm going to get in there looking for another deer that's been coming through there, or who knows what, because it's the rut. So we're going to see some deer coming back and forth. And you know, in these box blind situations when it's cold like this, it's easy to be able to sit comfortably for a long period of time, which can be a key this time of the year. When I get into a box blind, the first thing I like to do is figure out the locations for that day where I think it's all going to go down. And I don't want to open every blind in that box blind. I'm going to leave a few of them closed behind me, or take some camel cloth or something and hang it in some windows, create some distraction, create some 3D elements in there so that you can kind of move in and out of some of those things. I just don't want this big wide open thing with a face bopping back and forth the whole time. Yep, you still got to have your shooting lane in there, and you still have to have it open, but you don't necessarily want everything open behind you where you can be skylighted. So keep that in mind if you have an opportunity to hunt in a box blind.
More whitetail hunting action when the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries try his luck at taking a mature whitetail buck.
The world can be a tough place. That's why you need a side-by-side that's even tougher. The 2013 Rhino 700 Fi from Yamaha. The toughest, most off-road capable side-by-side out there. Rhino. Real world tough.
When's the last time you shot all these animals with the same rifle? Now you can do it for real. The Dimension bolt-action platform is the most advanced bolt-action rifle ever made. It shoots multiple calibers just by changing components and guarantees minute of angle accuracy. It's time to change the way you think about bolt-action rifles. The new Dimension bolt-action platform from Thompson Center.
It's for those who get up early on weekends and those who'd rather rough it than take it easy. It's for those who know it's not just a sport, but a way of life. The new Food Saver Game Saver vacuum sealing system keeps food fresh up to 5 times longer with a rugged design and 12-volt adapter cord for easy use in the field, ensuring your game and fish is fresh when you need it. The Food Saver Game Saver vacuum sealing system. Fielded fresh, sealed fresh.
Hunting isn't what we do, it's who we are. And the animals we hunt aren't the same as they were 1,000 years ago. They've evolved, they're smarter, but so are we. I believe that we as hunters must always strive to be better, and Stealth Camp makes me a better hunter. What do you believe?
This is where 10 Point was born. Before there was a factory or a business plan. Rick Bednar and his dad Bill started this company with a shared focus. 10 Point remains the industry standard for quality and performance. Rick and his sons are making sure of that.
If I wouldn't shoulder it, we wouldn't build it.
10 Point crossbows. There is no substitute.
Welcome back to the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. Well, we're back on the Lindsay Creek Ranch with Wade Middleton, who's looking forward to hunting out of a box blind with the cold front that has moved in.
You know, typical setups for box blinds or the shooting houses can be on a tower. They could be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I've seen them as high as 30 feet up in the air. They can be as big as a condo for 4 or 5 people in there. And they make for great places to go sit in really bad weather, especially when it's cold. I don't like being cold, so a box blind when it's that situation can really pay off. But a lot of times in the situations where a box blind is set up, it's because there's a lot of deer in that area. And in Texas, we don't have a lot of big trees in certain spots, so that's why a box blind can be such a great scenario or location for a hunter to be able to get in there and set up to hunt.
Wade's sitting in the same box blind that Cabela's Mark Nelsen hunted out of merely days earlier. Mark took a great mature buck, but the ranch manager had seen another buck in the area, and Wade was hoping to get a glimpse at him this morning.
You know, we talk about patterns. We talk about things that, you know, kind of crack you up in deer hunting. And, you know, I got a good look at a buck, got my binoculars on him, knew he was one that we wanted to take. And I had kind of been looking down to the left and started easing into position here. Had my new TC Dimension. This was going to be the first deer I'd taken with it. Kind of easing it out the window, and you know, the deer was off in the brush, and it kept going back in my mind. I kept thinking, I was like, man, how ironic. This is the exact same spot, the exact same angle, and I think this deer is going to step out in the exact same spot that Mark had just shot his deer, you know, a few days before. And sure enough, the deer kind of eased back out into the road and turned in the same spot. And I mean, literally within steps of where Mark had taken his buck, there comes a buck now that I was taking the safety off of to get ready to take a shot at.
My first buck with the TC Dimension right there, baby. It's a smoking good gun right here, right? I mean, you can take this gun anywhere, change your barrels, your zeros dead on every time, and you're gonna smoke them like that. Thompson Center Dimension, they got it right again.
I love it when things come together and you make a great decision in deer hunting. Chose to sit in this stand of one that I always like. It's Mark had just taken a buck there, and I couldn't wait to get back and, you know, send him a picture and let's say literally, man, when you see the footage, you're gonna crack up because, you know, our deer were standing, you know, within feet of each other. And, you know, that goes back to that pattern. It goes back to all that stuff that people talk about on how patternable deer are and how you as a hunter can work those patterns. And yes, they change and the deer are gonna change and you're gonna booger them up, maybe change the pattern. But if you can find an area the deer use, they're gonna use it time and time again, day in, day out, over time. So go back to places you've got good memories. You're gonna be surprised what's gonna happen there. And that's really the story of this buck here. I mean, the same spot bucks. Mark and Wade, boom. We both took our bucks in the same spot.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, TC Dimension. Nice buck.
Well, that was another successful entry in the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. Wade and Cabela's Mark Nelsen were both able to take great mature whitetail bucks here on the Lindsay Creek Ranch. To book your next trip out to the Lindsay Creek Ranch and have your chance to hunt on thousands of acres of prime deer habitat, visit lindsaycreekranch.com or call 830-719-1695. Do you want your chance to go after a big Texas buck with Whitetail Diaries host Wade Middleton and have that hunt filmed and used for a future episode of the Whitetail Diaries? Well, then go to facebook.com/Whitetail Diaries and click the like button for your chance to win. You'll also be eligible to win lots of great prizes from our friends at Yamaha, Garmin, Cabela's, and much, much more. So find us on Facebook and click the like button. Thanks for joining us. Join us next week, won't you, for another exciting entry in the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries.
There he is, son! That's my first TC